Welcome to Mahapenny's Miami Heat and More podcast. Let's welcome our host, Roy.
Good morning, Heat Nation, folks, folks, and everything between and beyond. My name is Roy, the host of Mahapenny's, the only host in the history of the internet, as far as I am concerned, who fully and wholeheartedly admits that he has no idea what he's talking about, but he keeps trying to listen to the right people, read the right people, and comment on things that he can't comment. And today, in this episode of My Worthless Half a Penny, part 50, 40 games in the books. We are one game shy of exact middle of the season territory. We're just a couple of weeks away from the trading deadline. We're 3 weeks about from the trading deadline. And of course, there's a lot of numbers to talk about, because in this My Worthless Half a Penny, I'm going to go back to the numbers. Raph is going to edit this video, so it's probably coming out after the San Antonio game. I don't mind that at all. I've been sick. I am still sick, but I kind of tried to record yesterday. It didn't come out. It seems like it's going to come out. It's going to come out now, so let me just get over with this as quickly as possible. All right. So we're going to talk about a little bit of the stats. Of course, we're going to talk about Jimmy Butler and any kind of expectations that I may have through the rest of the regular season and what it means to me, right? But let's start with our team stats ranking for this season. For now, in terms of field goal percentage, we are 20th at 45.6%, 20th. 3-point percentage, middle of the pack, 11th, 36.7%. Free throw percentage, in 10th. It's improved. It was toward the bottom at 78.8%. We've seen those games in which we finish at about 82% more often now. I think after 20 games, it's improved anyway. Offensive rating is 14th, somewhat improved at 114. Defensive rating 12th, somewhat stayed the same, right? A lot of people saying we're top 10. But then Jablonka went and continued to prove through numbers. He works a lot through numbers, but those numbers sometimes pop out. You can see them. It does make sense that we defend a lot better against teams that don't have as good a defense, right? So that's a little bit of a problem. In scoring, however, we are 21st, 111.8 points per game. Rebounding, 21st, 43.4 rebounds per game. Assists, we are 14th, 26.1 assists per game. Steals, we are 10th, 8.6 steals per game. Blocks, we are 29th at 3.7 blocks per game. And as far as our leaders go, in offensive rating, any surprise? Tyler Hero, of course, 120.6. Nikola Jovic in second place, 115.6. But look at the difference. Haywood Highsmith in third, 113.9. Bam Adebayo, 110.6. Duncan Robinson, 110. You're going to see that there is one name that is not going to appear on our rankings. So Hero, offensive rating, winning. Defensive rating, surprise? No, it's of course Bam Adebayo with 120.4, but perhaps the number 2 surprises you, which is Jaime Jaquez Jr. Triple J, 120.9. Nikola Jovic is in third, 121.2. Haywood Highsmith in fourth. I would have thought Haywood Highsmith would take second place at 121.2. Tyler Hero is in fifth, 121.6. Again, there is one name that is omitted from this list. Points per game, Tyler Hero, 24.2. Bam Adebayo, 15.9. Terry Rozier, 11.8. Duncan Robinson, 10.4. Nikola Jovic, 10. Assists per game, Hero again, 5 assists per game. Bam Adebayo, 4.6. Terry Rozier, 2.9. Jaime Jaquez Jr., 2.8. Duncan Robinson, 2.7 assists per game. Free throw percentage, Terry Rozier is the best out there with 91%. Duncan Robinson, the second best, 89.3%. Tyler Hero took a little bit of a dip, I think. I think he used to be a little bit better, but no, 86.4%. Nikola Jovic in fourth, 83.8%. And Jaime Jaquez Jr. in fifth. That just sounds weird. That's just because he goes to the free throw, to the charity stripe a lot, 72.9%. He needs to improve that part of his game. It's going to be good. Without Jimmy Butler, he plays better, but that's a topic for later on in the video. Rebounds per game, Bam Adebayo with 9.7, Tyler Hero with 5.7, Jaime Jaquez Jr. 4.7, Terry Rozier 4.1, and Nikola Jovic at 3.9. 3-point field goal percentage is Haywood Highsmith takes the cake with 41.5%, Tyler Hero 40.6%. What is it? 72 game streak with at least one triple. 71st or 72nd. I'm not sure. Tucker Robinson 37%, Nikola Jovic 35.8%, Jaime Jaquez Jr. 30.8%. Field goal percentage per game, Haywood Highsmith clears at 48.6%, but Tyler Hero is close second, 47.7%, which means more because it's more consistent, it's more time on the court, and more time and more shots, right? Bam Adebayo 45.6%, which is surprising that he's actually having that average. Nikola Jovic 44.3%, Jaime Jaquez Jr. at 43.9%. Blocks per game, it's not our thing, so everything's going to be under 1. Bam Adebayo 0.8. Haywood Highsmith 0.7, Terry Rozier 0.4, Nikola Jovic 0.3, and Jaime Jaquez Jr. at 0.1. And steals per game, that should be something that we would see a name here for sure, but nowhere to be found. Bam Adebayo 1.5, Jaime Jaquez Jr. 1.3, Haywood Highsmith 1, Nikola Jovic 0.8, Tyler Hero 0.7 steals per game. We are still doing pretty good when it comes to stealing the ball. We are doing pretty good still when it comes to turning the opponent over, but as I think it became clear to all of us, last game was not fun to watch. And it wasn't fun to watch because it was a scheduled loss against the Nuggets. Because again, right, I'm not going to ever comment about the game itself, having or not having Jimmy Butler as a factor in terms of winning or not winning. I don't think that we win this game with the roster that we have, period, unless maybe Spo really plays more of a big, big size players. You know, if it starts where and Bam, and then throws Jovic in there instead of Highsmith for more minutes, but that's never going to happen. Bam is not going to play power forward. Is not going to do that. It's not happening. Love is not. I don't know. I don't think the issue with Love is necessarily health, but it's just not available to be a backup center for Bam. So that's a good thing for us to watch where. And that's exactly where we were until Jimmy Butler came back from his suspension, which is it is fun to watch the team when you have no expectations for its future in this particular season. But you're watching the players develop. Players such as sophomore Jaime Jaquez or Nikola Jovic in his third year, if I'm not mistaken. Where, as a rookie, Pelle Larsson, who I haven't seen play a couple games, maybe because I just haven't watched games as well. 10:30, 10 p.m., those are pretty difficult games for me to watch. But what I'm trying to say is that when Jimmy Butler comes back and the dynamic sort of kind of reverts to this is the starting lineup with him on the court, we're already going to see fewer minutes for Jaime Jaquez. That to me is problematic because I think that Jaime Jaquez is thriving in those extended minutes to be able to be efficient in a game. And then all of a sudden you have the situation happening and it's just not fun to watch. And that's the main thing that I wanted to say about Jimmy Butler, okay? Which I think is going to consume the entire cycle of what it means to be a Miami Heat fan until the day that he gets traded. And we are hoping that the day comes sooner rather than later. When I say we are, I say most Heat fans that I spoke with have the same impression, even those who, like me, are great fans of Jimmy Butler. I am going to be one to say that Jimmy Butler didn't say anything that was said that he conveyed. The wording in the reports coming from ESPN, the wording that is, close sources, close people, etc., it's not, Jimmy Butler didn't say he would prefer being behind Booker. It's not like Jimmy Butler said that. No, there is a feeling and impression that Jimmy Butler would rather be a third wheel behind this. And somebody said that, but we don't know if it's Jimmy Butler. And then, of course, from the Heat camp, which, according to 5 Reasons Sports, they're trying and nothing is leaking from that end at all. The main idea is that we don't want him here, or there are players or staff members that don't want Jimmy Butler back in. They don't want any part of the drama. They are not happy playing with him anymore. And then again, we don't know who that is because currently nobody's going to expose themselves to this situation, and everything's going to be kind of, also nobody wants to get suspended, right? Because that also would be conduct detrimental to the team. If you have a player that is under contract that management wants them to play, and you're saying, I don't want them to play because I feel uncomfortable with them, that could also be problematic for the player saying it. I understand this anonymity, but this is what I'm going to say, okay? Sports media in the United States is something sad to watch. And I'm not saying because of the bulk of the pundits and the bulk of the commentators and the competence of the broadcasters. I'm talking about mainly what it is to be a journalist. A guy like Ira Winderman asking all the right questions and getting zero answers. So when is it that Ira Winderman is able to break a story, being a reporter, the main reporter for the Miami Heat, for information about the Miami Heat, for the Miami Herald, and he doesn't get anything. It doesn't get, I think, enough respect. It doesn't get anything. And the fact that he blocked me, again, I'm not gonna stop saying that. I'm gonna remind everybody that he blocked me because I said you should ask harder questions and persist and impose yourself. And he took it like, my God, this guy doesn't it's basically saying that I don't do journalism. It's not like, and I understood that he does. He actually does. Shams doesn't. Shams doesn't do journalism. That's not journalism. That is, I am the vessel of communication for people who want to communicate things through me. Same thing with Ramona, what's her face. That's not journalism. That's not journalism. You can call it whatever you want to call it, right? But I know in my heart, that's not journalism. Journalism is not waiting for the source to come to you and tell you something before you can actually report it. Journalism is you investigating and finding shit out. This is what journalism is. Journalism is saying, I've tried, they close the doors in front of me. This is journalism. This is why I respect 5 Reasons Sports a lot more than respect absolutely anyone on ESPN, anyone on any of those big channels. Because they don't do journalism. What they do is they're vessels of communication for people who want to communicate things through them. Shams is never going to find out about a deal that is being brokered. Yeah, somebody leaks it, it's going to find out. That's how Shams work. People have his number, they call him, I have news, you break it. Vessel of communication. The fact that he takes pride in that, him, Woj, or any other reporter that takes pride in not finding things out, not investigating, not going after the truth, but having information, data, not even information, data come through you and you just spewing it out because otherwise you would be out of a job. That's not journalism. So I have zero respect for Shams. Personally, don't know the guy. Maybe he's a nice guy, maybe not. Journalistically, I have zero respect for Shams, zero respect for what Woj represented, zero respect for what any of these guys do except the reporters that were there in the locker room after the game against the Nuggets and asked the hard questions, one of them being Ira Winderman. Okay? And they asked the questions that the answers were very interesting. And there is one thing that I like, which is the fact that Jimmy Butler said it was never a beef with any of these guys. I don't think that it is, but it's going to become. Whether players or staff members or somebody of importance said what was reported that was said or not, which we would at least we would have to think that yes, that's the only one that they basically divulge the news is when somebody says something. So yes, somebody in the Miami Heat camp said they don't want to play with Jimmy Butler anymore. Okay, can we say that's a fact? No, we don't know the name, we don't know the person. I can't say that's a fact. I can't say this is an anonymous source that this reporter got. This reporter, very much reporter. This is not a true reporter. This is not a true journalist. I'm sorry. I'm around people to talk to me and tell me things that I can then publish. This is not journalism, right? You're not breaking anything. Things are being broken to you, and then you go and communicate it to the media. But Jimmy Butler can keep saying that nothing. People keep saying stuff that I hear people. They say this, they say that, and I just let them keep talking. Jimmy Butler says the truth is going to come out soon enough. I really do wish the truth comes out because we want to know beyond what I think most of the analysts would agree that we probably will. I think every single fan knows that we should have done more for Butler in the sense of for Butler's prime timeline as to get ourselves and him the ring that both of our organizations deserved. We had to do a couple things and we just didn't do them throughout the entire tenure of Jimmy Butler there, with the exception, I think, perhaps of a couple of things, for example, Lowry coming to the team because Jimmy Butler wanted him to come to the team. And that being a complete bust. But it wasn't just Lowry. It was the failure of being able to acquire absolutely anyone. And again, right, how much of it is, for example, when Damian Lillard said that his destination was Miami and Miami only, even if it didn't have a no trade clause, and Joe Cronin didn't even pick up the phone to listen to offers. How much is it the fault of the front office? Because yes, for Damian Lillard, you kind of empty the chest, but not many players were available that he would do that. Kyrie Irving, I'm going to go back to Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving, in my opinion, I would put money on it that he's an anti-Semite. He truly is an anti-Semite. And I'm not saying he's an anti-Semite in the sense that he's going to go and wish that Jews perish or something. No, he doesn't like Jewish people. Mickey Harrison is Jewish. I'm Jewish as well, and I didn't take offense in Myers Leonard's comments, because I think that they were pretty much this is the stuff that people say when nobody's listening to them. And unfortunately, some of it is unhinged racism, anti-Semitism, but I don't doubt that Myers Leonard is really anti-Semitic. I doubt that he's smart enough to be anti-Semitic. I don't think he's stupid, but I doubt he's smart enough to have a strong opinion against, I don't know, maybe that's a stupid thing to say on my end. I doubt he's articulate enough to go and create a manifesto against Jews. But Kyrie Irving is not, in the sense that that's where his mind is. And that's what he meant 100%, according to the optics, to the entire Jewish community. I'm not going to speak on behalf of the entire Jewish community, but I think most of the Jewish community. This is what he declared when he recommended a movie that denies the Holocaust. So it's not that just that he's like the flat earthers and anti-vax and all those things that we already, okay, I'm not going to discuss vaccines right now because, again, it's not I may have opinions about that. I may have thoughts about that. Those thoughts are mine. I'm not going to be sharing them to the public. But what Kyrie Irving did do, which is recommend a book that denies the Holocaust, is a serious offense that was downplayed by the media and overplayed by some actors. Kyrie Irving wasn't coming to Miami. He wasn't coming to Miami. I don't think we ever had a structure to have KD and Butler at the same time. So KD wasn't coming to Miami either. Harden wasn't coming to Miami either. Even though we can see that we had assets that could probably be used to pull that deal off, we were not a destination. We were not a destination. And even if we were slightly in some position, and we can't say we weren't a destination because Pat Riley can't bring a free agent. Maybe that's the reason. But maybe the reason is plain and simple. We just don't, we already are the fifth team that spends the most in the NBA. We are tied. We don't have any assets because we dropped a lot of picks just for Butler. We lost picks, giving Dedmon out, if I'm not mistaken, giving Lowry out to get Rozier. So at the end of the day, asset mismanagement, I don't know if that even is the case. The front office legitimately believed in things that legitimately became concrete. We went to 3 conference finals. We went to 3-2 finals. We lost those 2 finals. The teams were superior. The teams were better. Nuggets especially. But we got there. And maybe we didn't have enough because we also were dealing with injuries in both of those finals. And Jimmy Butler's dad almost, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if he died during the finals, but he was very sick during the finals against the Nuggets. So that's another added problem right there to the psyche of the individual, that no matter how hard they're trying, they're still grieving. They're still pre-grieving. I know what that is because of my mother. I know that you pre-grieve. And it's not an easy thing to navigate through. So, I don't know, how much can you accuse the Miami Heat of not, okay, but let's say, other than the reason that I think everybody agrees, okay, the Miami Heat didn't do enough, or the front office didn't do enough to bring him complementing pieces that would be better than the ones that we brought him, right? It would be better than Trevor Ariza, than Dwayne Dedmon, than Cody Zeller, than, I'm not going to remember every one of them, but yes, I agree. We definitely got a lot of cones. Even, Nasir Little right now, we definitely got a lot of cones. And then we had a report that one of the things that helped deteriorate the relationship more was giving away Max Strus or letting Max Strus walk, We can agree with that, but how much can we agree that that is a good reason for a player to behave the way that he's behaving when we're getting close to the mark of the middle of the regular season and not in the off season? If he already knew that that was going to be compounded to that point, or if Miami Heat didn't know that this was going to get compounded to this point, we have gross incompetence and negligence from both sides. But now we are stuck in a situation that goes as such. I don't think that the Miami Heat fans don't want Jimmy Butler to play with the Miami Heat. I think the Miami Heat fans would love Jimmy Butler to play with the Miami Heat if he wants to be a player of the Miami Heat. Watching what we watched against the Nuggets is depressing. It's like a divorce with a child, because you still have to see the person. You're still forced to see the other person because you have a relationship that's probably going to last until you guys are grandparents. It's my situation right now. I'm not yet divorced, but I can see that that's a situation that's going to happen. It's pretty depressing to have to coexist with someone when the relationship is over. And the relationship between Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler is over. I thought, and I was wrong, that I would want to see Jimmy Butler come back and play, because I thought that it was something that we could get over it as fans, and that the organization could get over it as fans, that if they were able to reach some sort of agreement, that we would still be happy to see Jimmy Butler on court. But after those things that he said, and after those things that he did in terms of not playing, in terms of mockingly playing and purposely sabotaging the team, watching him play right now is just depressing. Number one, because when I saw the starting lineup against the Nuggets, the first thing that came to my mind was this character in 6 Feet Under, Nate Fisher, when he says to his sister, "You can't take a picture of this, it's already gone." It feels like it's a dead man walking situation. It's number one. Number two, you can see he doesn't want to be here. So why would we want, every time that a player makes a basket, I have a superstition, I thank them. I know it's ridiculous, but that's what it is. A player makes a basket, thank you, hero. It's difficult to thank Butler. And he actually went and did what a star is supposed to do, which is score a certain number of points, get a minimum number of rebounds, and get a minimum number of assists. And, have a decent stat line in which you basically do not even move on defense. You have nothing. You have zero defensive inclination, and your offense gets activated, but then there seems to be an issue. I don't think players want to get him involved. And maybe he said, "I don't want to be involved." Or maybe Spo created a game plan that doesn't, whatever is happening right now is a disgrace. It's a disgrace to the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler with Bulls apparel, that doesn't bother me at all. We understand the Michael Jordan reference, but it does bother me, or it should bother us, or the optics are not good when this situation is happening. 2 months ago, not a problem. Right now, a big problem. Jimmy Butler saying, "I was told to say no comment," is the same as a child saying, "My mom said that I have to say I'm sorry." It's the same thing. Meaning, that's basically something that he's saying, yes, the situation is not better, the situation is not reparable, I still want to trade, but I can't comment, because the organization is saying I can't comment, and if I comment, I could, be liable for another type of punishment, suspension in this case. But we want him to be out as soon as, I want him to be out as soon as possible. My expectation is that it does happen, and if it doesn't happen, the only thing that I can tell you is, never gonna miss a game. But it's no fun. It's been depressing. It takes away from players' developments. Spo should get him off the bench in the very minimum for him to get the same minutes that, Burks is getting from time to time, or Larson is getting from time to time, and get the rookies playing time, get the sophomores and the 3 years playing time. But move away from Jimmy Butler, please. Not because Jimmy Butler didn't do what he did, not because I don't want a player of the caliber of Jimmy Butler playing with the Heat, but because he spat on the face of this entire organization by playing 2 games the way that he played, and this last one, the third I don't think that impacted the result. Anything. I don't think he would have. We'll see tonight. We'll see today at 3 p.m. But I don't want to see him play anymore because it's depressing to me, and I'd rather see the young players developing, and I'd rather see the sophomores developing, and so forth. And I'd rather see Hero developing as well. For those people who say trade Fire Spo, trade Hero, etc. Look, man. First of all, I will always agree that no coach should be as comfortable as Spo is, and that changing coaches from time to time is not a bad idea. However, this is the strength of the league. The rest of the coaches still find Spo amazing, even if we criticize him. We criticize him because we're fans. But at the end of the day, even those who understand the game very well and have real criticism to say, it's obvious that Spo is there for a reason. Now, that's fine. So, fire Spo, blah, blah, blah. Pat, retire Pat Riley. Yeah, because for sure, if somebody else came in, they would do a better job. I don't know what people think, but those who are consistently saying trade Hero or trade Robinson, who is not the problem, and Hero is the solution, bro, I don't know what kind of vision you have of the game. Really, again, you can't be a fan of Jimmy and Miami Heat at the same time. But if you're more a fan of Jimmy than the Miami Heat, then you shouldn't be a fan of the Miami Heat. You should be a fan of Jimmy. Those are different things. They're not mutually exclusive. You can be both. But then if you're both, you have to say, like I do. I hope Jimmy Butler goes to the destination that he's happy. I hope he gets a ring if it's not over us. I really do. I think a lot of people wanted that to happen before this entire drama bit us on our backs. But I want Miami Heat to succeed. And what you're basically saying is implode the Miami Heat because of this Jimmy situation. We proved that we don't deserve the coach, that we need a better coach, that we need a better GM, that we need a better roster, but not a better roster in adding or trading a couple of, no, just basically trade everybody else. Like the guy said, trade everybody who's not doing well on defense, being that Tyler Hero, for example, has the second or third best offensive rating. Jaime Jaquez is there, Nikola Jovic is there, Haywood Highsmith is there. Anyway, there are a lot of very interesting opinions always floating around the internet, and those are all very considerable in terms of, unfortunately, that's the noise that's made, and anyone that actually has anything that is interesting to say, a lot of times get drowned in this sea of nonsense. But my main takes are these: Jimmy Butler doesn't want to stay with us. I don't want to see him play anymore because it's not fun with our jersey, because it's not fun unless something comes out that everything he said. I have an extension. I love the Miami Heat. And even that is going to be weird. It's going to take some time. I thought I was going to be able to just forgive and forget. I couldn't forgive. I couldn't forget. It wasn't fun. I'm not looking forward to him in the lineup this afternoon either. But it is what it is. It's what we have, and it's what we're going to have to deal with until he gets traded. Again, hope he gets traded soon. In the meantime, stay safe, stay dry, stay as happy as possible in this very complicated world of ours, and let's go Heat.